Check out the new Lexus RX500h F Sport Performance I've been driving this week. This large SUV has some heavy-hitting luxury rivals, like the BMW X5 xDrive 45e and the Mercedes-Benz GLE 450. But the RX has been restyled, revamped and retooled. Let me show you what I liked about it and what my little family of three thought about it this week. Let's get straight into the obvious design changes. I'm going to start with what I don't like, and that's the new grille. The iconic spindle design has been flattened by this big body paneling now, and in my opinion, it looks almost more bulbous than sporty. That's pretty much all I don't like about the exterior though. I thought it was a great design choice to lift and level out the bonnet because now it looks way more purposeful. To help this model look sportier, there's a lot of black detailing that I like the 21-inch alloy wheels, plus you've got a lot of faux intake vents at the front and the rear, and I've always been a massive fan of this floating roof effect that this big black panel produces. The interior has been revamped as well. You now have a 14-inch touchscreen multimedia system, which is up from the 12.3-inch system from the previous model. You lose the traditional gear shifter and now have an E-shifter. The dashboard has been stepped to make it feel like you're getting tucked in by the cockpit. The new RX hasn't only seen a design change, the price has shifted too. But even with its new $126,000 price tag, it's still $10,000 more affordable than its nearest rival. I really like the features that this car comes with. You've got heated and ventilated front seats, heated steering wheel, panoramic sunroof, leather accented trim on the seats and in the dash, plus you get new for 2023 a digital rear view mirror. The only luxe factor that it doesn't really have is in the back, where you don't have ventilated or heated outboard seats. The full specs are in my written review at carsguide.com.au if you want more details. The front is lovely and you really feel enveloped by the car. Everything is well positioned from the driver's point of view and you've got plenty of leg and headroom too. The amenities up front are also great, as I've mentioned, but I really like the charging options. You've got 3 USB-C ports, a USB-A port, 12-volt port, and a wireless charging pad. Obviously, you're well spoiled up front. The storage is good, and I really like the dual opening of the middle console. However, the aperture for this little cubby here is a bit narrow, which makes it awkward when you have to slide your big phone in and out. The new 14-inch touchscreen looks really good and is easy enough to use once you get used to it. The layout isn't as great as others that I've used, but I loved the built-in sat-nav. This has wireless Apple CarPlay and wired Android Auto. Super simple to connect my phone to it, and I really liked that you didn't have a trailing cable in the cabin space. The back seat is really comfortable. The seats are well padded, I've got plenty of head and legroom. But I did notice that the seat column sort of tapers in up top, which means that taller passengers might feel a bit more hemmed in than what I do at my 168cm height. The amenities are pretty good back here, even though it misses out on those luxe factors that I've already mentioned. You still have directional air vents, climate control, reading lights, and the ever practical, easy to clean backs of the seats and retractable sunblinds. Although my kid did play with them a lot this week, so I had a love-hate relationship. In terms of storage, you don't get heaps back here like you would usually see in a large SUV. You still have 2 map pockets and the usual bins and things on the doors. But what I really liked was the armrest. You've got this cute little storage tray, snack tray, and retractable cup holders. I also quite like that you get 2 USB-C ports back here too, so everyone can stay charged up. There are ISOFIX child seat mounts on the outboard seats, plus 3 top tethers. You'd get lucky if you got 3 skinny child seats in here, but 2 will definitely fit best. And while you can fit a 0 to 4 rearward facing child seat, it will encroach on front passenger space, especially if you're tall. This boot is a good size at 612 litres, but the aperture is sloped, so you might get a little bit strategic with packing bulkier items in back here. I really liked the level load space and how easy it is to access the spare tyre underneath the floor. I also really liked having the power tailgate with kick function this week. The top model only has one engine available, and that's a 2.4 litre 4-cylinder turbo petrol hybrid one. It has a max combined power output of 273 kilowatts. This replaces the old V6 hybrid engine from the previous models, but I still found it to be quite punchy. In fact, it has a claimed 0 to 100 km/h sprint time of 6.2 seconds. This is an all-wheel drive and has a cool e-axle feature, which just means that it's a bit clever with the power distribution. The electric motor powers the rear axle while the petrol engine powers the front. You can notice the 6-speed auto transmission gear changing, but otherwise the engine delivers a solid performance. This is a very comfortable SUV to drive. The steering is really responsive, and I quite like how some of the safety information is pulled into the head-up display. For example, a car was merging on my left-hand side and the head-up display actually displayed a car graphic doing the same. It was a nice little extra warning to have. While this feels powerful, it's also kind of lazy. I did feel like I had to push it quite hard this week, but it does respond well when you push it hard, so it wasn't too much of a bother. I felt very comfortable overtaking, getting up to speed, and zipping across traffic in this, which was good. The suspension is adaptive but feels springy to me. It handles corners fairly well, but I'm not as well seated as what I probably would like. And that's something that my husband mentioned from the passenger side as well. The active noise cancelling on this is quite good, and it makes for a very quiet cabin space. At least until you get a kid in the back, and then it's 20 questions in 20 seconds. I love the 11-metre turning circle and makes parking this in a rat-warren car park that much easier. Also, the 360-degree view camera is one of the best I've seen, definitely top 3. But despite this being quite a large car, you don't feel it when you park it. The official combined fuel figure is 6.5 litres per 100 kilometres, and that's up by half a litre on the previous model. Real-world testing saw my figure at 8.3 litres though, and I was disappointed with the efficiency. There are more efficient options out there that I would consider if the hybrid part of the model's name was what interested you. This has a 65-litre fuel tank, and based off the official combined figure, you should be able to get a 1,000-kilometre driving range. Based off my experience, I would expect less of a range than that. The RX comes with some great safety features, but a cool highlight is the safe exit assist. If the car detects an obstacle coming along your blind spot, it will alert you via the dash. But Lexus goes one step further. If you still try to open the door and the obstacle is still detected, the car will lock you in. The RX has a maximum 5-star ANCAP safety rating from testing done in 2022. It used to have 10 airbags, but now it just has 8, which is still respectable, and I do like seeing the front center airbag on this one. The full safety specs are in my written review at carsguide.com.au if you want more info. In terms of ownership, the RX now comes with a 5-year unlimited kilometre warranty, which is nice to see. There is a 5-year cap price servicing plan, or up to 75,000 kilometres, but the services cost $695, which is $100 more expensive than the previous model. However, considering where this sits in the class, this is pretty good still. The servicing intervals are reasonable at every 12 months or 15,000 kilometres, whichever occurs first. The Lexus RX500h F Sport Performance has delivered a solid performance this week. I've enjoyed driving it, it's comfortable to have the kids in, but it is missing a few items that I would expect for a top model. Some luxe factors, some practical family storage that you often see in a large SUV, and just the refinement that you would expect for the flagship model. It's got enough that you don't notice it too much, but the hybrid performance was a bit surprising with that fuel efficiency, so this gets a 7 out of 10 from me. My son really enjoyed the panoramic sunroof and his tall seating position, and he gives it an 8 out of 10. If you're after more details, check out the full review at carsguide.com.au, and I'll see you next week.